When you go home, go up to Miss Worthington, look her in her eyes and say, I believe in Willie.
Mr. Willie!
I'm busy.
Mr. Willie, I would like to remind you most forcibly that when you booked into this hotel, you intended to depart immediately to the House of Commons.
Something's popped up.
Oh, no doubt. However, I'm sure it has now been dealt with. So nothing further need to detain you or Ronnie.
Don't you take that attitude with me!
Ronnie, the manager's got a point.
He shouldn't allow his hotel to be used for adultery in the first...
Adultery?
Mr. and Mrs. Bloody Pigden opposite.
Mr. Pigden's got a lot to answer for.
Oh, he bloody well has.
I've just told him I want full explanation for the damages done in 650.
Have you just been speaking with Pigden?
By the lift.
Bloody swine!
Ronnie! Look what you've gone and done.
I have told Mr. Pigden I want him and his wife out of this hotel immediately.
Mrs. Pigden's gone, Mr. Pigden's on the way. You've ruined the honeymoon, you know that.
Another thing. Why is Mr. Pigden pushing his brother around and around the hotel in a wheelchair?
To get some fresh air. For Fred, not George. Fred came over this morning very ill. So, too much champagne at the wedding. So George is pushing him home.
To Felixstowe?
No, Lewis.
Mr. Willie! Mr. Willie!
George! You're supposed to be on your way to Clapham Common.
He's risen!
By illusion.
He's risen!
Risen? Who's risen?
The fellow in the wheelchair!
What?
The fellow in the wheelchair!
Your brother Fred?
Will you please leave us alone?
He stood up!
Who stood up?
The fellow in the wheelchair!
What?
Fred was only inebriated, surely.
Thank you.
I was pushing him into the lift when he stood up!
He couldn't have.
Why on earth not?
Please! What did you do?
I ran like hell!
And what did Fred do?
He's gone down in the lift!
Really? He's probably getting sick all over the reception.
He's coming back to haunt us, Mr. Willie!
Shut up, George. He's not dead. That's what it means.
Not dead?
It's not good news for us.
But surely it's good news for us!
No, maybe for the erstwhile dead body, but not for us.
But Mr. Willie, I'm sure it's good news. I don't have to push him to Clapham Common, and I can go and relieve Nurse Foster at home.
George, do you realize if he's alive, he'll be able to verify everything about me and Miss Worthington? By the way, did you run into Mr. Worthington in the corridor?
Yes, and he looked very cross.
That's all right then. He was looking for Mr. Pigden.
You're right.
He thinks you're Dr. Livingston.
Dr. Livingston?
That's right, George. One more thing. I told Ronnie that private detective was my crazy brother Harrington.
Well, that makes a change. You've told everybody that he's my drunk brother Fred.
Well, George, if Jack Baker returns...
Who's Jack Baker?
The private detective. You just keep him here.
Oh my God.
And George, if Ronnie returns before I do...
Yes.
God help you.
I've got a complaint.
Stand in line.
Look, I went through a lot of trouble to get this wheelchair for your brother, Fred.
Yes, we don't need it.
And instead of him using it, does he go up and down the hotel lift?
Yes, we don't need it anymore, thank you.
Right, then I'll just take it back there, shall I?
Yes, right. Thank you so much.
On second thought, I'll keep it on standby in case there's another emergency.
Yes, thank you. What is it now?
Hello, George. Well, this is a pleasant surprise.
Mrs. Willie?
What are you doing here, George?
Mrs. Willie?
Yes, George.
Mrs. Willie?
Shouldn't you be at the House of Commons with Richard? Or at home with your mother?
I came over.
Came over what, George?
Yeah.
Yes.
I came over here. Mr.
Yes.
Willie. Mr. Willie called me here. He wanted me collect papers. He House of Commons, me here.
Yes, I expect Richard is up to his eyes in it, is it? Yes. You've had a long day, have you, George? There's nothing wrong, is there?
No.
Lovely.
Who is it?
Room service.
Room service.
I thought you might need this.
No, actually, yeah, I'm feeling much better now. It's gone. It's marvelous. It's healed. It's wonderful. You've been so kind. Here you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, have some more. Oh, you've been really kind. Thank you so much. I won't be needing you. Bye. Where were we, Mrs. Willie?
Have you had a fall or something, George?
Yes, I fell off one of the back benches.
Oh,
I thought you were in the country.
I was. But I decided to drive up and give Richard a little surprise.
I think it's going to be a big one, actually.
Lovely.
So you just want to say hello to Mr. Willie and go back to the country, yes?
Don't be silly, George. I'm staying the night.
The night?
Yes.
No! Mr. Willie's got an all-site knitting, an all-night sitting.
I know. I decided I wanted to hear him speak tonight. How is the government getting on, by the way?
What government?
In the debate.
That government coming along nicely.
Lovely.
Living along
I
nicely.
could either go over to the House of Commons and watch the debate from the visitors' gallery.
No, you can't do
Or
that.
I could stay here with a glass of wine and some sandwiches and watch the debate on TV.
No, you can't do that either.
Why on earth not?
Because it's much quieter next door.
Next door?
Yes, next door, suite 650. It's mine.
Are you staying at the hotel as well?
Yes, next door, it's mine.
Huh.
It's a treat from Mr. Willie. Come, let's go, next door.
What do you mean? Come, let's go next door.
The two of us, come, next door. We may never get a chance like this again.
A chance for what? For heaven's sake, George.
To make mad, passionate love.
Mad? Passionate?
Love, Mrs. Willie. You've driven me wild for years.
I can't believe this is happening, George!
Oh, what a woman. Don't fight it, Mrs. Willie.
Oh, who is fighting it, George? Is this why you've been behaving so strangely, George?
You've noticed, have you?
And all this time you've been holding it.
Holding it in. Yes.
Come on, George!
Let's use the window.
The window?
Yes, we don't want to bump into anyone, do we?
Oh, good thinking, George.
Quickly, Mrs.
George, I need my nightie and things.
You don't need your nightie with me.
I do, George.
You're wasting valuable time.
Well, come on then. Come on, George. Oh, George. Do you think this is utter madness?
I bloody well do.
I can't find the damn detective anywhere. George! George! George!
Mr. Willie?
Sorry, Mr. Willie.
What on earth are you doing back here, Miss Wellington?
I got lost.
What?
Well, I went down the fire escape like you said,
Yes?
and I got out of the wrong floor.
Hard.
Well, I was trying to find my way downstairs.
Yes?
Ronnie saw me.
Ronnie?
It's all right. I've managed to give him the slip.
Oh,
What have you done with that dead detective?
the last time we saw him, he was taking the lift down to reception.
What?
Well, our dead detective isn't dead.
Not dead?
Although, if he catches up with Ronnie, some of us might be. Now, you go and get back to the House of Commons as soon as you can. At this time, don't get lost.
What's Mr. Baker doing?
God only knows. I just hope he's not lying down on the job. That's all. Can I help you?
To tell you the truth, I'm not too sure. I know it's very strange, but sir, I seem to have lost my memory.
Come in, young man. Lost your memory, eh?
Yes,
How distressing.
yes. I can't even remember my name.
That's terrible.
Yes. Or what I'm doing in this hotel.
That's awful.
Yes. And I've got this splitting headache.
Well, you shouldn't be wandering about in that condition, young man. You just lie down, relax, put your legs up.
Oh, you're so kind.
Well, always ready to help.
I know it's the most peculiar feeling, but I just feel like Suite 648 seemed very... We don't know each other, do we?
Never laid eyes on you. Well, my friend is a doctor, and he'll be here soon, and he'll be able to help you.
A doctor? That's so lucky.
Isn't it? Oh, there he is.
Mr. Willie, thank God you're here.
I was wondering where you'd got to,
The
Doctor.
most dreadful thing has happened. She's waiting for me next. Dr. Livingston?
First things first. Dr. Livingston, you might be able to help him.
I thought he snuffed it again.
Dr. Livingston is a neurologist.
Oh my God.
You're in good hands. Doctor, don't worry. He's lost his memory completely.
Have you? Yes. Like, it's crazy. I can't even remember who I am. That's terrible.
He can't even remember what he's doing in the hotel.
That's awful. I seem to remember something about this room, though.
Oh.
And that window.
Oh. Doctor, you better take that patient and put him into a bed in...
Yes, that's a good idea. No, that's not a good idea.
Well, it's getting pretty crowded here.
Well, it's getting very crowded in 652.
I don't understand, Doctor.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. I'll explain everything after I put my patient to bed. Here.
All right.
My wife's given me the slip, and I still can't find Peyton anywhere.
Why don't you try Suite 650? He might have come back. 650, yes.
No!
Well, it's a good idea for Ronnie to keep trying. Mr. Bigden might come back.
No, Mr. Pigden is not there.
It's a good idea.
No, I was just with Mr. Pigden not 5 minutes ago.
Were you?
Yeah,
Where?
in the hotel indoor swimming pool.
Swimming pool?
Yes, we were doing a couple of legs together.
Oh, I'll give him a few lengths.
Hey, hang on a second. Have you ever seen me before?
Indeed, you're Mr. Willie's crazy brother Harrington.
Your crazy brother Harrington?
It's like this.
I'm your brother? Oh my God.
Yes. Doctor, Harrington is a bit confused
Harrington's confused.
as to why we didn't explain our relationship in the first place.
Yes.
But you're very ill, young man. Your memory keeps going and coming. You have a word for it, don't you, Doctor?
Oh, I have a word for it, all right.
Doctor, why don't you see who's at the door while I put Harrington to bed?
Mr. Willie, if I could speak to you, it's something really important.
Later, Doctor. Just put Harrington to bed. I'll take care of Harrington. You take care of the door.
You're so kind.
What are big brothers for Harrington?
Are you sure it's not Jack?
Jack?
Yeah, that's a name that keeps coming into my head.
That's because you work in a garage, Harrington.
Made bed now?
No, the bed is occupied and so is the one in 650.
Non capisco.
That makes the two of us. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye. George!
This is Willie.
What's
taking you so long? You only came back to borrow Richard's dressing gown.
Yes, but I couldn't find it.
Well, come on. I've ordered champagne and oysters.
Oh, Mrs. Willie.
Oh, just do as you're told, George.
Champagne!
There was suite 650.
Yes, but that was empty, so I figured it'd all be in here.
Will you take it next door?
Right. Shall I go back the way I came, shall I?
Yes, please.
Right. Are you on the bride's side or the groom's?
I beg your pardon.
Will you go away?
Right.
Mrs. Willie, it's about Mr. Willie.
Just come on, George. It's an all-night sitting. He'll be at the House of Commons till breakfast time.
Yes, but I'm worried he might just pop over.
George!
Oh my God! Mrs. Willie! Mrs. Willie! Mrs. Willie! Oh, thank God!
Oh.
Thank God, Mrs. Willie!
Oh, George! Oh, George!
God, you're all right, Mrs. Willie!
Oh, what a kiss, George!
Oh, Mrs. Willie! Coming! Coming!
Oh, George! Oh!
You'll be fine now, Mrs. Willie.
What do you have to say for yourself, Mr. Pigden?
Nurse Foster!
Your mother is worried to death. You know that?
Nurse Foster!
Yeah, I'm surprised. I really am. You've been so predictable up to today.
Nurse Foster!
And what do you mean by getting married without telling anybody? Your mother is in a right state, I can tell you that. And I promised her that I wouldn't leave this hotel suite until I made some sense out of you.
Will you please go home, Nurse Foster, and tell Mother that I'll explain everything when I get home later?
Nurse Foster wants an explanation now, Mr. Pigden!
Oh, what a kiss, George! Sorry, wrong room. Oh!
Was that your new wife?
No, that's Mr. Willie's old one.
You mean that woman's your minister's wife?
Yes!
Oh, but she said, what a kiss, George!
Well, it sounded something like that, didn't it?
How many women have you got in here?
I lost count.
Mr. Pigden!
Nurse Foster, please go home and go to Mother. I'll explain everything when I get home.
So, where's this new bride of yours then?
She's not my new bride. She's one of the secretaries from over there.
One of the who? What are you doing, Mr. Pigden?
Please, Mr. Willie might come at any moment, and so will everybody else. So please, go home.
Not without you!
All right then. Come next door.
Next door?
Yes, suite 650. It's
Oh.
fine.
Oh, and what an offer!
To make mad, passionate love.
Passionate
Love, Nurse Foster. Oh God, a woman.
Mr. Pigden, have you gone mad?
You've driven me there. Don't fight it, Nurse Foster.
But who's fighting it, Mr. Pigden? You know, I always knew there was more to you.
Well, there's not much of me left.
What about Mrs. Willie and that secretary?
Well, who needs them now that you're here?
Oh, come on then.
Now let's use the window.
Oh, the window.
Everybody uses the window. You go along, Nurse Foster, quickly, and I'll take all my clothes off and join you.
Oh, George!
I want to look all naked and alluring.
Splendid. You'll find me in the same condition. You can call me Gladys.
Nurse Foster, please, Gladys, don't lean in like this.
Oh, why not?
George, you've been wasting yourself all these years. Mrs. Willie! Mrs. Willie!
Are you coming in to join me, George?
Oh, Mrs. Willie, you've got to go.
Oh, but George!
Just take rest and lie there, Harrington. Who is it?
Room service.
What is it?
Sign, please.
Sign? What's that for?
Champagne and 3 dozen oysters. Sweet 650.
I didn't order that.
No, Mr. Pigden did.
Mr. Pigden couldn't have.
He did, I tell you.
It must be a mistake.
No,
We didn't order oysters.
Sweet 650.
650. George!
Yes.
What the hell are you doing?
I've just come out of the closet. The cupboard.
What the blazes were you doing in there?
It seemed like a good idea at that time.
Silly fellow. Did you order champagne and oysters?
Yes.
Why?
It seemed like a good idea at that
Oh,
time.
shut up, George. Now, Harold.
Yeah, it's taking a while to get cracking on your honeymoon, isn't it, sir? Yes. And the other one. Was that your mother-in-law?
Yes! Harold! Yes? Now, I was wondering whether you have some sleeping pills.
Sleeping pills?
Well, your brother Fred is starting to remember a lot of things. The stronger, the better.
I'm sure one of the chambermaids will have some.
Good. Will you have it sent up or bring it here as soon as possible?
Oh, no sooner said than done, sir.
Thank you. George, do the honors.
Well, you needn't think you're going through my salary as well.
The night is still young, sir.
George, listen. You guard the door while I put Harrington to bed.
Mr. Willie, I have to tell you something very important. It's about Mrs. Willie.
What about Mrs. Willie?
Oh, Mrs. Willie.
Mrs. Willie?
She's in the cupboard.
Pamela's in the cupboard.
Yes, in a nightie.
Pamela's in the cupboard in a nightie.
Yes.
Drinking a cup of cocoa, I suppose.
No.
Then what's Pamela doing in a nightie in a cupboard?
She's waiting for me to take all my clothes off.
And then what?
She wants me to make mad, passionate love.
Nurse Foster.
Let me speak to her.
But you can't talk to him. Well, will you please tell Mrs. Pigden that he'll be back home before midnight? You can't? Where are you? What's Nurse Foster doing in 650?
Waiting for me to take all my clothes off.
Then what?
She wants me to make mad, passionate love.
Nurse Foster, I suppose the service of yours is covered under the National Health. John, I suppose that champagne and oyster was for Nurse Foster.
No, they were for Mrs. Willie. I tried to tell you, Mr. Willie.
Oh, Richard!
Rhoda!
I've had such a bang!
She had a bang on her head.
George, I don't need to know the position.
She hit her head on the window.
Was it before, during, or after?
She just wanted to come here and surprise you, that's all.
She's done that all right.
It's very important that you get her dressed and take her home before she bumps into either Ronnie or the detective.
Sleeping pills.
I'll deal with you later, Pigden.
Thank you.
Now, we won't be needing your services anymore tonight, Harold.
Well, you never know your luck, sir.
Mr. Willie?
Harold, wait!
Miss Worthington, your husband's still on a
And
rampage.
so's the Prime Minister, I'm afraid.
Oh my God!
I don't think there's room here for the Prime Minister.
What happened?
Well, when I got over there, the debate was getting out of hand and the House was in an uproar.
What happened?
Well, the PM was starting to get a bit flustered. Then one of the Labour backbenchers stood up and said, it's a pity the Prime Minister's lapdog isn't in the House to protect him.
Lapdog?
That's you, Mr. Willie.
When the Prime Minister realized you weren't there, Mr. Willie, steam started coming out of his head. I think he actually kicked your chief whip's ankle.
Oh my God.
Things are starting to hot up here, aren't they?
Shut up!
Look, I'd better get back. If the Labour bench knew I was here warning you, Mr. Willie, I'd be out on my ear.
You're a dear sweet girl. Let's both go.
No. Miss Worthington, you go. Mr. Willie's got to handle something here. Hey, I remember why he came to the Westminster Hotel. Oh, it's no good, it's gone again.
Well, you just go back into the bedroom and relax.
What's that private detective doing in your bedroom?
Well, don't worry, George is handling it.
Is your brother a private detective?
Who will you go away?
Well, why don't you go and give your brother those pills, George?
But first, you've got to handle something here.
Well, I'll just go to the House of Commons, make a brief speech, chuck a few insults at a Labour friend, and I'll be back here in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes, the world could come to an end, Mr. Willie. I know you, young lady, don't I?
I don't think so.
Your face looks very familiar. Well, she's a very familiar young lady.
How would you know? You haven't had the chance to find out.
No. I know I've seen you somewhere.
Well, George, why don't you take Fred and give him his pills?
All right, but I think what you have to do is first handle something here.
Well, why don't you take Fred and give him the pills, George, and put him into bed?
Mr. Willie, are you sure my name is not Jack?
Positive.
Willie doesn't seem to fit either.
Bloody hell.
And Mr. Willie, I know it's very strange, but I just don't feel like I'm your brother.
He's Mr. Willie's brother.
Well, why don't you, Doctor, why don't you take Harrington into the bedroom and give him his pills?
Harrington?
Mr. Willie, I'm more worried about who's going to handle things over here.
We're all worried, Doctor. Why don't you take the patient and put him into bed and make sure you're there till he drops off?
I have no strong feelings about the doctor here. Well, I have feelings about very strong people.
Well, in that case, why don't you clean out the cupboard here and the bed in 650? And I'll be back as soon as I can.
Here, Mr. Willie, how can his brother be your brother as well?
Well, it's like this. We all have the same mother. But George, Fred, and Bert had a different father from me.
Oh my God! What's your relation to Mr. Willie? Very strained.
George, will you please take care of Fred?
Yes, but I'm really glad that Fred, Bert, and I had a different father from you.
Come on, Mr. Willie, please, the PM will be going potty.
Well, I think you can handle things here, can't you, George?
Oh, yes, sir. I figure there's a lot more mileage in this yet.
Hurry up.
Good.
Hurry up, Mr. Willie. Oh! It's Ronnie!
Ronnie!
Looking funny!
Oh, the window!
Is Ronnie one of the bad guys or the good guys?
He's the worst!
Coming!
No, let go!
Huh? Yes? Good evening, sir. Are you looking for the hotel swimming pool?
I fell into the hotel swimming pool. Thank you.
Well, I hope you're staying here. It's for guests only.
Where's Mr. Willie?
Why, he just this minute left.
I didn't see him.
Oh, he took the usual route out the window.
Well, I'm looking for his brother, George Pigden.
Oh, Mr. Pigden, he was here too.
In this room?
That's right.
Did he have a young woman with him?
Oh, yes, his new bride.
New bride?
Yes! And Mr. Willie seemed to have disappeared at the mention of the name Ronnie!
Right.
But if I do bump into them, who shall I say call?
Ronnie!
Ronnie, right. Ronnie!
What is it?
Just hold on for one tiny little... Oh dear, oh dear. You can come out now. The bad guy's bitten the dust.
Thanks. Oh, I don't know if anybody knows, but there's a lady hanging in the cupboard.
A lady?
In a nightie.
Oh, wait. Isn't she your mother?
What?
For taking out one bad guy, 10 pounds.
Bloody head! Bloody swine pigtail! Of course. Pigtail's home address. George Pigtail, 25 Kenilworth Avenue, Wimbledon.
Ronnie, where are you going?
I'm going around to Pigtail's house.
Hello, I'm right here. He's not here. He's in the hotel in the swimming pool, right?
The only one who's been in the hotel swimming pool is me! He's on a bunk, the grafting devil.
Oh no, Ronnie, you can't go.
Let go of me!
No, please, don't go.
No, Harish, let go! Let go!
No, Ronnie, please don't
I'm going to Pigtail's house. I'm going to go to my plastic box. Let go!
Stop that! If you don't leave this hotel right now, my security will come and remove you in handcuffs.
Quite right.
If Ronnie doesn't vacate the hotel.
I'm vacating, all right, thank you.
No, Ronnie, no, no, no!
No, you stop that! Stop that!
I've got him! Baker, that's my name!
You said he had gone.
Will you go back to bed?
He's not staying here. You have another wedding to go to.
I have been married to Mrs. Baker for 15 years.
I'm calling the security.
What, don't mind Harrington. I don't give a damn about Harrington.
It's Jack Baker.
Jack Baker?
Yes, that's me. Hey,
This bloke's my private dick. What the hell's happened to him?
nothing untoward as far as I can see.
No, Ronnie Worthington. I bloody well know who I am, thank you.
Mrs. Worthington.
Do you know where my wife is? Oh, yes! Well, I think I better take my kitchen back to bed. You keep quiet, Dr. Livingston.
I can see right up your collar, Mr. Worthington.
Where's my wife?
Window.
My wife went out the window.
Yes, window. Right. Yes! Now I remember everything! Right.
I'm going to find my wife and drag her around to Pigden's house.
No, Ronnie, that's not necessary.
I'll have it out with the both of them.
No, Ronnie, you can't go. Just wait for a second.
What the hell is it?
Oh, bloody hell!
I told you to go next door. I found these clothes in a neat pile at the foot of the bed.
They're Mrs. Willie's. And where are